We begin tonight with a recap of a deadly, violent weekend in the Chattahoochee Valley. Turning to COVID-related news tonight, a new survey shows many Americans feel like life is getting back to normal. Former President Jimmy Carter releasing a statement congratulating President-elect Joe Biden for his victory. Vice President-elect Kamala Harris making her first trip back to the Peach State since the November election. You've seen us talk about the census right here on WTVM for months now, and the time is approaching to finalize the count. Muskogee County Coroner Buddy Bryan just arrived back on the scene a few minutes ago after spending quite some time here earlier last night. I guess a quick recap or anything new you can tell us? You can still see that damage from Hurricane Michael. How are people in the area feeling down there? We begin with weather this evening as Raddick is tracking some typical summer storms moving into our area.
People down here are like, when is it going to snow? Well,
it looked like it wanted to snow today driving back, but
it really did, yeah.
High five.
High five, sorry, give her a high.
There we go. All right, maybe a kiss on the cheek. Goodbye. Thank you, Zoe. Two campaign buses rolling into the Chattahoochee Valley Wednesday, with two of Georgia's U.S. Senate candidates energizing voters.
Stay vote!
Republican Senator David Perdue making a stop on his Win Georgia Save America bus tour in Catala.
The eyes of America, I'm talking about everybody outside Georgia, are on us right now.
And Democratic challenger John Ossoff bringing his health, jobs, and justice bus tour to Columbus.
You're feeling hope because we have the opportunity now, Columbus, to write the next chapter in American history.
Both are encouraging early voting.
We got to get out and vote for health, for jobs, for justice. We can make health care affordable for every family. We can recover economically from this pandemic and invest in infrastructure. And we can pass a new Civil Rights Act to secure equal justice for all.
This leftist radical socialist agenda that would defund the police, open our borders, have illegal immigrants voting. It would take away our private health insurance, and it would bring us the Green New Deal that we cannot afford. It would cost every Georgian $65,000 per year. It's just not possible.
They also spoke about the pandemic. Perdue says along with bringing a COVID vaccine to the country in less than a year, he's also focusing on helping Georgians get through the back end of the pandemic.
We brought $47 billion to Georgia in the first round of CARES that helped us save 1.5 million jobs in Georgia under the Paycheck Protection Program. So we're back at it, really trying to get help. We've been blocked several times by the Democrats.
Ossoff says testing and vaccines should be free for every American as part of an ambitious COVID relief package.
We need to invest in infrastructure and job creation in order to grow the economy out of this crisis. And in order to make those kinds of changes, in order to ensure that everyone has access to the vaccine, folks got to get out to the polls and vote.
Since March 14th, we've just been floating aimlessly.
Melinda Mann of Midland, Georgia, says she is one of nearly 800 crew members stuck on board Holland America's MS Amsterdam that has been without passengers since mid-March due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
I get 3 hours, 1 hour at a time meal breaks to go get a quick lunch and go outside. Other than that, I spend all my time in my room, so I have not hugged anybody in weeks. I've not touched anybody in weeks. When we go to meal times, we are not allowed to face each other. We sit one person per table, all facing one direction. This is due to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's no sail order preventing passengers from boarding ships. There is no end date for this for me. I'm here until the U.S. government decides to let me in, and they have not provided an end date for that. The CDC's order says its intent is to prevent the spread of COVID-19 in the U.S., preserve medical resources on land, and protect ship personnel. We're not a sick ship. I've offered to be tested for COVID before going ashore, but they're just not accepting that. The no-sail order estimates there are nearly 100 ships that remain at sea with more than 80,000 crew on board. Outside of the Bahamas, they're calling it an armada. There's so many cruise ships floating out there, and the same thing here on the West Coast. Mann's feelings have turned to frustration. I was born in Florida, raised in Georgia. I went to Brookstone. I went to the University of Alabama for 4 years. I think I have a very typical Southern life, and I've always loved the United States, and now my country doesn't want me, and they won't let me in, and it's heartbreaking. Mann says they docked in LA to get fuel on Tuesday. Against my will, the police let the ship take me away. I'm being taken to Mexico against my will.
According to Mann, she will be transferred to another ship in Mexico.
The whole first floor of the apartment is just like some movie stuff, Amityville horror, like fire busting out the windows.
Eric Bush lived with his 5-year-old twin sons and brother Jonathan in their Patriot Place apartment in Columbus since November until Monday night.
Our apartment was right there in this empty space now, nothing, and it's all gone. So
Bush was home with his 2 boys making dinner when all of a sudden,
boom, 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 knock at the door, fireman, hey, get out.
a knock that helped them get to safety.
I don't know when we would have noticed it if he didn't come. But yeah, just trying to figure out what's the most important things in your life to grab in 10 seconds is something, school doesn't teach you. So,
You got them in your hands, right?
yes.
Jonathan Bush was at work when the blaze started off Buena Vista Road.
Finally got back to my brother and we talked about it and everything. We just couldn't even process everything. It just felt like, when are we gonna wake up, It didn't even seem like it was real. We were just living in there yesterday.
With everything gone, the Bush family says it's like they're having to start over, which is not an easy thing to do.
The clothes you see us in now is what we left in. And we watched it all burn down.